Hello, everyone. We'd like to invite you with Kuba to our conversation about field sales in CPG. Actually, Kuba will be asking me questions about that, but I believe we'll have a pretty interesting conversation, like how AI can bring value to the field sales.
Yeah. So we'll be covering different aspects of why it's important to invest in AI right now, how we can make it securely in a scalable way, and also how to win the trust of an organization when implementing AI, and of course navigating different problems and how to choose the proper AI for you, and maybe if not AI, maybe a different solution that will help you achieve the goal that you need in sales, right?
Yep. So stay tuned.
Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Stream Talk. Today I'm joined by Magda, our leading expert in AI implementation in sales in CPG. We'll be covering different topics, different aspects of how AI can help organizations be smarter about sales.
Thank you, Kuba, for having me.
Great for having you.
Thank you.
Maybe let's start with the big picture in sales. So what are the biggest challenges that companies are currently facing when we talk about sales?
Sales, yeah. The sales in CPG, right?
Yeah, especially in CPG.
In CPG. I mean, I would start actually with general industry issues because that's the core what's then happen with the sales in CPG. So first of all, what we see is it's a trend around switching from focus on price to focus on optimization, right? Because it's no longer the game of the price. Like so far, like till today, the CPG companies were gaining revenues from the price spikes, from the macroeconomic situation. Right now, it's a game about how to optimize assortment, how to sell the larger volume of products. We also see the change in the consumer habits, right? The consumers are actually buying different products that they were buying from the past. So it's about like mixing and trying to understand the basket of a customer, right?
And at the same time, we have this omni-channel, right? So customer expects the same kind of experience online, on mobile, and then in the brick and mortar stores. And it's kind of a challenge for companies to balance, to juggle all those worlds, right?
Yeah, these are all the challenges. And then it all combines into how the sales team actually operates because they are on the front line. They are on the battlefield to get that products on the shelf and to make sure they'll actually sell it and not cannibalize itself, right?
So I'm wondering, so if we're in the shoes of a company, is it the proper time to invest in AI right now, or should we wait for it to unfold and maybe take a kind of maybe stable and kind of stance on this, right?
Yeah, I mean, we already see that the biggest players in CPG are implementing AI in many ways. It's a question of if that projects are successful or not, right? But I think the time to start was actually yesterday. I would not afraid of the change of technology right now. I think it's more about like getting into this field and trying to understand what's in it for our company, right? So we can see that in general, in AI, we can see, and we have actually the numbers to cover that. I think Boston Consulting Group made a kind of analysis where they say that within the 2 years, the revenue of the company can double or even triple thanks to AI, and the cost may go down around like more than like 100% of it.
Yes, at the same time, there are a lot of kind of experiments and POCs around that keep failing. But should this discourage us from pursuing our goals in sales?
I mean, sales is a super interesting field for the AI implementation. Because it's sales, so it's a money game, right? So sales is the closest to the revenue, sales is the closest to the market presence, and then whatever you do in the sales affects entire company. And sales is also very specific in like what kind of work they do. So there is a creative work when you actually have to figure out and plan your interaction with the stores, how you're going to sell them. But on the other hand, you have this repetitive work that gets in the way of selling. So when you change that, it's then you get the biggest results, yeah.
Yeah, from my experience, I know that in ROI you usually calculate the hard savings, like saving an FTE, how much new revenue in your business you're bringing by AI. But there's also this kind of soft kind of savings, right? Let's not that obvious and not calculated directly, like ability to scale faster, ability to faster insight time, right?
True, and specifically in AI in sales, in a CPG, we see those 4 areas which are directly connected to the performance and to the kind of how fast the team can, for example, onboard the new team members, right? So we see the 4 areas where the ROI is the biggest. So it's a territory management. We see like a 20% of an increase within, on what's on the market, what our customers are actually gaining in it. And it's caused by the fact that it's not only the planning the route, but it's also taking more data from the inside analytics to know exactly why to go to that store. It's not necessarily the decision that we were not there last week, that's why we are going to that store. It's more about like, what's the opportunity this week to actually go in the right place and fulfill the sales responsibilities, right? And we also see the increase in a promotion, in an assortment optimization, which is your topic. You know that pretty well, that it's a high increase there. And we see also very interesting drop numbers, like 25% in admin work, drop of the admin work, right? So then when you don't do the admin, you do the selling. So it's a huge gain. It should it indirectly reflect in numbers, but yeah, it's a soft game actually, how we right now analyze the revenue of the ROI of the AI.
So out of this kind of topics, I'm particularly interested in field sales, because this is some interesting topic, because these people need to cover a lot of ground, need to know about all of the changes in assortment, all the promotion from the competitors, and also need to close the deal at the end of the day, talk with the kind of owners and customers. So how can AI affect their work directly?
So what we see here in the stream, how we do that, I'm thinking of it as a kind of, you have a customer journey, but this is more like a workload journey, I would say. You have the 6 areas of the field sales work when you can actually give them support in the form of AI agent, chatbot, voice bot, and also more advanced analytics when you actually bring the insights, not the reports.
So I can imagine that you can put together these modalities, this different version of the chat, of the assistant, I would call for them. They can collate information, they can give them kind of digest on the way as they're driving, for example, via voice interface, right?
Yeah.
So this like definitely is time saver to be better prepared for the upcoming meetings, right?
Exactly, and we can imagine, for example, that someone is like making the conversation, the voice conversation with the AI agent who has a direct access to your internal data. For example, if you are like a sales leader and you go on this, it's called the training on the job or training on the site, it has many ways, many names basically. But when you do that kind of a part of the training for your employees, you actually need to know first what was the previous result, like what was the previous performance. And then you also need to combine with the data about the store. So when you're on the road in a car, depend on the phone reception to get the good internet. Like it's very important to have your hands like kind of a free and maybe talk to the chatbot. The same on the store, right? When you're in the store, in the moment, like making the photos of what's on the shelf and so on, you don't really have time to make notes, right? So agents can actually also do that.
So definitely a time-saving device here.
Yep.
Okay. So sales, I mean, when I look at the report from McKinsey and all the major kind of consulting groups, there are a lot of investment done around sales as a kind of special field, right? So why sales exactly is the perfect or the best place to place our bets, right? AI bets right now, and what kind of sales we can support with AI?
Yeah, it's interesting because when we think of a sales, like if someone is not in a sales topic, sales may seem something very similar, right?
Yeah.
But also from my previous experience working more with the SaaS products, I can see that sales has many faces, right? You can do the sales, which is more kind of a high volume, low value game where you actually have to sell a lot of products, which is maybe closer to the CPG, right?
Yeah.
And then the optimization and prioritization is extremely important. But you also may have a different types of sales when you sell smaller volumes, but with the higher value, the sales there looks completely different. So you have so many topics, so many ways to approach sales with the technical solutions. That's why you have so much tools out there. Like there's so much things out there because the sales has different faces depending of what kind of sales you think of, right?
So definitely lead generation, lead qualification
Yeah,
phase.
that's very
right?
specific for SaaS kind of sales. So when you sell the software product and you have a subscription model, then yes, there is a lead generation. There is a lot of investment around like this whole volume of potential customers that you can bring to your product. In field sales is completely different game because it's very human, right? So AI will not definitely replace those salespeople going to the store and talking to the managers and figuring out how they can actually help position the product better on the shelf. So we cannot say this will be automated, but we can do everything else to assist them on the job to make that job much easier and more successful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think our customers see a lot of value and potential in kind of crunching the information they already have in the sales systems and kind of extracting this secret sauce, like what's the sales. Every salesman has this kind of special traits to bring like from top guys to maybe this not average performance, right, and low performance to bring this knowledge and kind of equalize the performance across all your kind of workforce, right?
Yeah, I would say it's a very kind of typical in every sales. Like there is this kind of sales leaders, people who are doing the sales the best way. And there's also the group of people that are just trying to learn from that experience. But there is not so much interaction. For example, if you can think of the sales team, it's very hard for them to like change the experience because they're doing their job mostly alone or with their sales leader, right, on the way. So what's happening with AI, we can provide that from the data. So we can take all that internal data, how the performance looked like, one, from the systems where they do their tasks, where they actually check what's on the shelves. On the other hand, we can take the data from the opinions and from the reviews of their leaders, right? And then we can bring the picture of like why that person is such good at sales, right? Is it a matter of the area they're operating or it's a matter of their very personal skills that they bring, which change the game, right?
So I think it's now obvious that these tools save a lot of time, a lot of effort, and can generate new value. Then, if you're faced with a decision to introduce in your company, you have a lot of options. There are a lot of tech out there already, right? Built, pre-built, advertised everywhere. So, what are the drawbacks and pros and cons, I would say, for going with off-the-shelf solution versus building something custom built, especially for your organization?
Yeah, I would be very cautious with like going first to build something custom. There are different tools if we think of a CRM system, ERP system. So I would say everywhere where the data sits, this is more like a commodity for the company. I would not consider that game-changing to choose one or the other tool for the sales team. But if we think of this reading this secret sauce, as you mentioned, right, this unobvious insights, for that we need training the models based on the existing data, on historical data, right? And that's the kind of a way to make the suggestions, valid for this particular business. So with that case, definitely solving one particular a particular problem, I would go for something custom. Right?
Okay. So, and I think our customers also stress the importance that they do not want another tool, yet another
Yes.
tool, yet another window to switch to go to answer the question. So my understanding is that these tools, the AI should be embedded or closely integrated with the stack they are already using, right? To not disrupt the flow.
Yes, it's very risky when you go and trying to find a custom product, someone to build that for you, and they say that they're going to build like another application you have to log in and use, right? So what we're trying to, for example, do here is to really just avoid this friction. So using, for example, internal communication tools, like if you have a Google Chat, if you have a Slack, if you have a Teams, we can bring these agents for you there. So you don't need to log into another system and train people, right? Because everything is about like training people on how to use the product. And that affects the adoption the most, right?
Yeah, that's right. So the different kind of aspect of the same. So to get it first to work in kind of small scale maybe, and then roll out to bigger scale.
Yeah.
So we are slowly approaching also the problem. Once you selected the deployment model, how to do it so that it brings value not only for a POC, not only for a small rollout, but kind of across your organization. So what are the best kind of tips that we can give to our customers to implement successfully AI? Right?
AI. I mean, we're making the AI very special, but it's actually not that special, right? It's another software to implement, I would say. Yeah. So the old classic things are still working here. So if we think of a change management, like a classic change management, like rules, they have to apply as well. So you have to find people in the company that will be the champion of this idea, right? You have to do it in an incremental way, like having the small wins. So it makes the team more comfortable with the solution that, yes, this is actually working. It's not perfect yet, but we actually see the results. And it makes people even more willing to adopt the new product. So classical change management works, but there is definitely one new element of AI, which is something different. It's the matter of like helping companies to understand AI. So educational aspect is something really new.
I would say managing expectations
and
beforehand.
Managing expectations, which is
important.
a part of education, right?
Exactly. So having kind of a clear expectation of what your solution will be able to do. And in the process, I will also add that I think makes a lot of sense to do some kind of snapshots, do kind of demos, right, at certain points, to not just deliver something in a couple of months and be in a situation that, okay, so this is a tool that you have right now, what we develop, but it's not actually solving the problems that you wanted. So
it's a matter of KPIs, right? You have to be very specific what you expect this tool to give you after this, let's say, first and the second step of the implementation, right? Because sometimes people also have the expectations which are not written down. I mean, they don't know anything about the AI, or know a little bit, or they learned from what they heard about the AI, so they have the higher expectation than it's actually possible with the AI, right? So when we think, for example, the insights and suggestions, people think that AI can give you like a crazy comparison, like connecting the dots which are not even in the data, right? Which is like unobvious things that you would not be able to figure out through going through the reports, which is not the
insights.
Which is not the case actually, because what it can give you, it can just give you on the plate all the analytics that you need in the moment, right? And make some comparisons, maybe some causation or correlation, right? But not something we don't really have in the data.
Yes,
right?
I agree. It's also true for legacy machine learning systems that you need to fit it with right data, right?
Yeah.
So whatever is in the system is going to be, of course, kind of considered by the AI, but we also can think about a solution that grab the data from outside of organization and brings like competitors' actions, like promotional data that is available, right?
But there have to be also like listed and connected to our internal tool. It's not like we expect some outside data to be fed into our system without making the work to get that data actually integrated, right? Because so it's more about like understanding. One, it's another level of a technical challenge, right? To understand for people who are not technical how this works, and then managing the expectations through those small steps So we actually educate them through implementing the product. That's how it works, right? You can.
Yeah, and just I think also important factor, important kind of aspect of the solution is the security, because customers keep asking like, how secure is this? Can I put my data in there? And how do we diffuse this this kind of
and the funny
threat?
thing, and the funny thing is that it's not like they actually are aware of the security issues. It's more like this is the whole atmosphere and everything created about AI that is in general not secured. But on one hand, it's really good we have that questions, because we here are really good at making this secure, right? So people are more aware which kind of company to choose to build a better product. On the other side, it's also still a kind of education how you use that product. So your name, not making the bridges.
You're touching on kind of you have to consider the elephant in the room, because we didn't talk yet.
Yeah.
So the biggest threat of AI, right? The problem with implementing AI is that a lot of the people that will be affected, right, think that we'll be replacing them, right, instead of helping them.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, the biggest challenge is to put the message across, right, do the groundwork, and just to confirm that the solution that you're building is going to be a tool, like a calculator, like an Excel, right? Or something that will enhance the possibilities and not replace them per se, right? And push them out of the company.
I mean, in the 80s, we were afraid of the computers in the office, right? So I believe there will be more new jobs coming in. But especially if we think of the field sales in CPG, I don't see that very soon to happen. I think the human connection, like this human factor of that work, which would probably require more crazy AI solutions like a robot, something like that, which is kind of outside of the of the horizon right now. Right now, I think the AI will just assist, and will do that pretty well. So it will be like your own intern, sales intern, that will be with you everywhere and making sure that all the job you don't want to do is just done for you.
Sure. Yeah. So we've covered a lot of ground here, like in this talk. So we know that how to choose like custom built solution versus off the shelf. Important things like winning a kind of solution credibility among the leaders, right? Building security in the solution, making all the right choices to build it, and taking step by step, not like one big project at a time. So all these things are important, and I think with this we can successfully say that we can implement this AI in sales, right? What would be your kind of takeaway? What's your take on how we can, or is there anything else? Any kind of closing remark you'd like to make?
I think the most important is to understand the problem that we are solving. It's a universal everywhere. So when we're building the AI solution, it's not like that you can just take some solution and implement it into field sales, right? You have to really understand how these people operate, right? So the things like this whole access to the data, how it's actually done, like is it like a voice bot, like the kind of the interaction with AI is extremely important, right? So I would go with that thought at the end, like you have to understand what people will be using your solution, right?
Maybe closely connected to the needs of company, right?
Closely connected. It's universal. It never changes, but it's even more important right now when we build something very vertical in AI that solves specific problem.
Yeah, I can just add that from my perspective, it's always beneficial to look at the high level kind of organization, look where the AI really makes sense, right, in the process, and not rely on kind of some nudge or some gut feeling, but make an educated kind of decision that this process may be successfully implemented and automated by AI. That's something I keep observing when we develop those solutions for customers.
So education again, right? We're getting back to
and getting to know the business, right? Getting the time to know the business, doing this extra mile of understanding what customer really needs, how it works, to go on the kind of, for example, travel, right? On a journey to the store to understand how the store is laid out, what the salesmen are actually doing on the spot.
Sure.
That's really pays off in the kind of end solution. Thank you, Magda, for this really insightful talk.
Thank you so much. And I think anyone who wants to connect with us, we're on the LinkedIn, right? So just drop the message. We can talk about AI, CPG industry, and even go beyond. And we also have our YouTube channel where we have webinars. So you can also watch what we have in the different topics, different industries, and we encourage you to see also the company website, company page on the LinkedIn and website as well. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kuba.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Otta.